Ivan Zoot, aka Clipper Guy. You might know him because he's an author, an educator, a coach, a barber, all around serial entrepreneur. He has written books on how to grow your business and build a career that you want. He's even broken records. If you missed that, go ahead and check out the last episode. You don't want to miss it, where we get to hear how he became who he was and like where he's at. And today we're going to hear more about these books and the lessons that are involved. It's all about how to build yourself a career. Welcome back to the Hairdresser Strong Show. Today I'm with Ivan Zoot. Thank you for being with us today, Ivan.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be back.
Like I said in the introduction, if you all didn't see the previous episode with Ivan, it's really great. I think it's really good for everybody, especially if you're just starting out your career or you're looking to make a big change. There's a lot of very valuable lessons in there. And so today we're going to dig into a little bit of information about professional development and Ivan, author. How many books have you written on this topic?
I'm currently working on number 14.
All right. So I think we're in for a treat. So why don't you, first of all, why don't you tell us a little bit about for the people who did not watch the episode yet, would you give us like a high level overview of your journey to this point where you decided to start writing books?
Absolutely. 35 years in the business, cos school first, barber school later. Pretty much had every hat on in the business. I am not a licensed cosmetology or barber school instructor, but other than that, from shampoo girl through salon ownership, platform educator, national sales manager, director of education and training for major manufacturers, and then of course, author, coach, trainer, pretty much everything in the business, and, put an awful lot of hair on the floor along the way. Had a lot of fun, made a lot of money, and I'm not done yet.
Awesome. Okay, cool. So tell us a little bit about when did you decide, how did this authoring of books, how did that start? Like, where did that come from? What was your first foray into this space?
Well, it's interesting because I've been around long enough that the world of these things has changed a lot. I got a really great piece of advice very early on from a guy a legend in the business. Those of you that have been around a while, Jim Jones out of East Lansing, Michigan, was a barber and hair cutting and clipper cutting educator back in the 80s when I got into the business. He was still around in the 90s a bit, but I sat in the back of one of his classes as a cosmetology school student. I said, that's what I want to do. I want to teach people how to cut hair with a clipper. Now, my wife, who's always very supportive, said, why don't you finish school first, wise guy? But long story short, 2 years later, I taught my first class at a show in which Jim was in another classroom teaching something else. But he became a good friend and a mentor. And a piece of advice he gave me very early on was, you've got to create materials. At the time, he said, you got to get a video. And his thought process behind it was, you can only reach so many people. Got to remember, this is pre-internet. You can only reach so many people with classes and shows. And I took his advice and I got a clipper company to give me $300. And I got a razor company to give me $300. And I produced a how to clipper cut and how to razor cut video. And I had them recorded, mastered on VHS. And I used to go to shows with my boxes of VHS tapes. Well, I've been doing that long enough that my videos went from VHS to CD. They went from CD to USB jump drive. They went from USB jump drive to downloads and to YouTube. I was actually one of the first people in the world in the beauty and barber business ever to put a video on YouTube. I have cool YouTube content that if you look at the dates, it was posted to YouTube when YouTube was less than 90 days old.
Wow.
I've been on the platform literally since the beginning.
That's awesome.
But it was his advice. You got to put it in a form that you can spread it, that, started me in video and ultimately wound me up with books. Now, back in the old days, there were these book publishing template format things online where you'd write your book in a Word file and upload it. It was the early days of what's called POD, or print on demand. what that means is there's no books. There is no inventory. There is no warehouse. But when someone goes to the website to click and buy a book, the book is printed and shipped. Back in the old days. Now, fast forward today, you have Kindle Direct on Amazon, and all of my books are available on my website. All of my books are available on Amazon. All of my books are available paper, digital, and audio, with the exception of one book that is not suitable for audio, and I'll explain that in a moment. But same world. I have inventory in my warehouse of books that I ship and sell. But if you buy one of my books at Amazon, it's not in a warehouse. You buy that book, they look at where you live, they look at a printer near you, and they print it and ship it to you direct like that. It has made book writing, authoring, and publishing super easy. It's available to anyone.
Nice.
And I will tell, folks out there that want to establish a career in leadership in some way, whether it's education, training, coaching, management, if you've got ideas, if you've got a viewpoint, if you've got a perspective on how the world should be, I'm going to give you the same advice that was given to me. Get busy, write a book. All of a sudden, you're an author. It gives you a level of credibility that you previously didn't have. It lets you spread the word in a much more powerful way. It's extremely cost effective. You can buy a book from me and I don't ever have to go to the airport. Yet I can impact you in a positive way. And let's talk about COVID for 15 seconds. How am I going to do hair shows during COVID? You know what I did during COVID? I sat in my basement on Zoom and I sold books.
Nice.
And it was very, very effective. So today, as I said, I'm working on title number 14. The one that really put it all on the map was this one, $100,000 hair cutter.
All right.
This is a daily devotional to success in the business. You keep this on your night table. You wake up in the morning and you turn to today and you read today. If you look, they're McNuggets. They're not big, fat, crazy chapters. They're daily inspiration, motivation, and education. One idea a day, 365 days. There's a bonus 53rd week of the year in the back. There's 2 chapters of additional monthly focused topics, but sales, management, marketing, advertising, hiring, training, promotion, business building, technical haircutting in here. Literally, this is my brain on paper. This book really kind of launched. I published books before that, more technical in nature, but this really kind of established the conversation in that way.
That's awesome. Cool. Well, $100,000 hair cutter. That's I think that's going to be appealing to a lot of people. That seems to be this still we're over social media become a 6-figure hairdresser, become $100,000 hairdresser, and okay, so you got the daily devotional, so that's like something to wake up to or go to bed to, basically, and like inspiration, education, information, and what else? What other kind of stuff that you got?
I want your community. I want everybody in your community to have this book for free. This book, this has got the COVID story. I wrote this book in 2019 to launch January in 2020. I did a couple shows in January and a couple shows in February. It was going to be a huge year. Well, in March, the whole world imploded with COVID. Everything shut down. How am I going to sell books? And the answer was, I'm not going to sell books. If you go to my website at ivanzoot.com, it says 100 by 100. This is 100 new haircut customers in 100 days guaranteed. This is focused conversation. It's a day-by-day, step-by-step plan on one thing and one thing only, new butts in seats. But here's the deal. Since I couldn't sell it at hair shows in 2020, I made the decision to give it away for free. You simply pay shipping and handling. You go to my website, click on 100 by 100. There's a coupon code. When you put the book in your cart and you put in the coupon code, it wipes out the book. You pay the shipping and handling, and it's yours. But this one, guaranteed, 100 new haircut customers in 100 days. Any day can be day one. Pause and think imagine, close your eyes. What would your life look like? What would your career look like? What would your appointment book look like? What would your checkbook look like with 100 additional customers? Well, the answer is 100 days is not that far away if you start today. But 10 days from now, if you didn't start today, 100 days moves 10 days further out into the future. So, free book for all your people.
So so when I go to the schools and talk to the students quite a bit, and one of the things that comes up is they want to, they want to build their book quickly. They don't want to spend much time assisting, and they want to kind of just get people in the chair. And so they ask how to build a book. And so for those people listening, I'm sure this sounds exciting. Would you give us like a couple of things that are in the book that will help kind of give us a little peek and decide what that book is, and something that someone can take with them today?
Sure. We're going to rattle some people up pretty hard right here. I've got a class that I just submitted to the International Beauty Show in New York for next year. I've submitted it to several other shows, and it's going to get picked up, and I'm going to be teaching it next year. And I want to tell you the title of this class. The title of this class is Social minus Media equals Connection. Social minus media equals connection. And I'm going to say this, and we can kick it around a little bit if you want. Members of your community can chew on this a little bit. The number one best way to build your business in the beauty and barber business is to lock your cell phone in the trunk of your car. Okay, I am old school, all right? And I built business bigger, better, and faster without a smartphone, without the internet, and without social media. And the truth of the matter is, while technology has moved forward at blinding speed, human evolution doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
We are very similar as humans in our behavior, in our biology, in our psychology, in our physiology. We are very, very similar to George Washington and Thomas Jefferson. We are just like people were 500 years ago when technology was, we have a wheel now, okay? We haven't kept up. Humans haven't kept up. And truth be told, a lot of humans can't keep up, and many humans have quit. Many humans have gotten off the hamster wheel because they just can't process this rate of technology. So the bottom line is the best way to build business in the beauty of, because we are a low-tech, high-touch human interaction business. Go back and watch our first video. We talked about people connecting with people. We talked about the fact that the business is not about haircuts. It's about building and maintaining relationships with humans. In order to build a relationship with a human, you have to look at them in the eye. You can't look at your hi, how you doing today? It doesn't work. So I will tell you, the book is heavily based on old school thinking when it comes to building business, because there's no school like old school. Do you need social? Absolutely. Should you have a Facebook page? Yes. Do I have a YouTube? Hell yes. But I always use the example. You ever sat on a bar stool? I'm sitting on a bar stool. Notice this bar stool. This bar stool has 4 legs. You ever seen a 3-legged bar stool? I have occasionally. They're not real stable. You ever seen a 2-legged bar stool? There's no such thing. You ever seen a 1-legged bar stool? Doesn't exist. That's called a pogo stick. Well, here's the deal. If you want to build business in our business, social media is one leg of the bar stool. We have other legs on the bar stool. You've got to have a complete and balanced marketing program in place. You got to have all of it covered, and you can't put too much emphasis. Think about it. You're sitting on a bar stool. If you lean all the way over on one leg of the bar stool, social media, it's not going to support you.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's funny you say that. Somewhere around 70%, plus or minus 5%, is for the salon that I'm at. We get from referrals, and then DC can be a little transient, and then there's like 20% will come from like Google search, Not a whole lot from social media. I've heard different things from stylists in New York City that they get a lot more of their people, but they don't actually have hard numbers to
They
tell
can't
me.
back it up. They can't back it
Yeah.
up. Here's what I'll tell you about social media. The client that finds a hair cutter on social media today finds their next hair cutter on social media for their next haircut. Those clients are highly, highly transient because they're into the flavor of the moment. If someone is searching hashtag mullet haircut, they're going to search that hashtag again. They're going to find you, they're going to try you, and like ADD squirrel, bright shiny object, they're gone. You do
Yeah.
not build lasting business through search on social media. I don't believe it. And to your point, I don't believe anybody has the data to substantiate that it works.
Yeah. We track all of our new clients, and it's such a small percentage from social media, but they like the social media from the Google search. So like you're saying, like the different legs, like the social media supports Google search, but Google search drives way more customers than social media. But the people that are on Google want to see the social media. They want to see pictures.
Yeah.
But that's such a,
You gotta have an IG, but you
yeah,
don't have to have more than 100 pictures on it.
right. Totally.
You have to have
Totally.
a presence. You got to have a
Yeah.
YouTube channel. 20 videos is more than enough. You got
Yeah.
to
A
have a
presence.
Facebook
That's it.
page. One post every 2 weeks on your Facebook page in your community is more than enough. Get
Right.
off social and spend time. Social minus media equals connection. That's the name of that class. Be looking for it in 2022. You forget about the media and focus on social connection. And
Yeah.
you
That's
use the
good.
word, you said it, not me, referrals.
Yeah. That's great. Awesome. That's, I mean, I think this is great. This is a great little introduction to authoring books. Also, your books that you've also authored
Let's
with
talk about
some.
one more. Let me
Okay.
interrupt you real quick.
Okay. Let's see
This
it.
is 13, the Professional Haircutter's Pricing Playbook.
Okay.
It's a math class. It's the only book I ever wrote that I didn't finish, and I'll show you what I mean by that. When I say I wrote it but I didn't finish it, it is filled with empty spaces.
Ah.
Those are the spaces for your numbers, your data. And I've got the formulas, the benchmarks, the tracking. You put in your numbers. Use a pencil. Hey, I'm old school. Use a pencil because next week, next month, or next year, as your business grows, you're going to erase the numbers. You're going to put in the new ones. This will become a living, breathing, organic, growing coaching tool that grows with you and with your business. I created a holiday. Did you know you can create a holiday?
No.
July 1st. Do you know what holiday that is?
No.
July 1. I created this holiday 14 years ago. July 1 is Raise Your Haircut Prices Day in the USA. That is our official haircutter holiday. And we all celebrate. Now, it's not that everybody goes up on July 1. The holiday is designed to foster dialogue, conversation, sharing, learning, and understanding that you go up when your data, when your statistics, when your math demonstrates that you can and you should go up. But you got to know your numbers. To know your numbers is to grow your numbers. That which gets measured gets improved. That's what this one's all about.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, raising prices, that's come up quite a few times. People want to hear about raising prices. That's a lot of fear and uncertainty.
Oh, there's all kinds of emotion wrapped up in that one.
Yeah, yeah. And you're usually basing it off of what other people around you charge.
Yeah, the number one tool that licensed cosmetologists use to determine their pricing is their phone.
Yeah.
How much is your haircut? Click. How much is your haircut? Click. How much is your haircut? Click. And they add up all the prices, they divide by 6 to get a local average. And they determine the local average is $24. Well, if I'm a chicken, I'm going to go 23. And if I'm gutsy, I go 25. What you've just done is you've made your single most important business decision using as a foundation other people's bad decision-making skills. That is not a formula for success. You and I, we're going to get together another time on this program. We're going to have a whole conversation about pricing some other day. Tune in for that one some other time.
Yeah, that would be super awesome. Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much. I like to end our conversations with a laugh. I don't know that I actually prepared you for this, but do you have? I like to ask people for their most embarrassing moment or a point in time where they didn't think it was funny, but looking back on it is now something to laugh about, as it pertains to your career in this industry.
Well, most of my career is something worth laughing about. Uh, because if there's anything you can screw up, I've done it. I nipped this girl's ear one time. I was ready to quit the business. I did that in 2004. It's still bleeding. I've got so many of those stories. If you can screw anything up in the hair business, I've done it. But since you want people to laugh, I'm going to end with a joke.
Okay.
Because as a barber working in barber shops for so many years, you got to tell jokes. It's part of the culture. So this guy opens the door of a barbershop, sticks his head in and says to the barber, "How long is the wait for a haircut?" Well, the barber looks up and he counts the heads in the waiting room. He goes, "I got about 45 minutes to wait." And the guy shakes his head and he walks off. Next week, same guy opens the door, sticks his head in the barbershop, says, "How long is the wait for a haircut?" The barber looks up and he counts the heads and he goes, "I got about a 45, 50-minute wait right now." The guy shakes his head and he takes off, doesn't stay. Third week, same guy shows up, opens the door, sticks his head in the barbershop, says, "Hey, how long is the wait for a haircut?" The barber looks up, he counts the heads, and he says, "I got about a 45, 50-minute wait right now." Guy says, "Nah," and walks away. Well, the barber turns to the shoeshine kid and he says, "Hey," he said, "that's 3 weeks in a row. I need you to follow him. Tell me where he goes. Tell me what's up." So the shoeshine kid runs out the door and follows the guy down the block. About 10 minutes later, comes back in the barbershop and he's laughing. And the barber says to the shoeshine kid, he goes, "Where does he go?" And the shoeshine kid says, "He goes to your house."
That's pretty good. Oh man.
That barbershop joke is about 150 years old.
Yeah. Oh man. All right. Well, on that note, thank you so much for being on the show. This was great, and definitely want to have you on again soon.
Thank you so much for having me. It was a pleasure. I look forward to coming back.
Awesome. And and if you're interested in knowing more about Ivan and the stuff that he does, you can check out the information below. There will be links to check him out. And also, if you're watching on YouTube or Instagram, please follow, subscribe, leave a comment. It helps support the channel. And also, if you're listening on podcast, please give us a rating and follow us. And until next time, Ivan, I'll see you later.
Thanks, buddy.
All right.